Hello there, welcome back to the paddock pass thing. Unfortunately, it pains me to say this, but my physical counterpart is still being held hostage by the RSPCA. I'll get him out soon. Maybe. Anyway, the news of the day. Ferrari are massive. No, not in size. Stop trying to cancel me, you they're steamrolling everyone. As Charles Leclerc won the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and Carlos Sainz took second, making Ferrari massive. Don't you dare, you right smelly prick. Verstappen took third place, completing the conventional podium lineup. However, there were plenty of other surprises. A Mercedes engine blew up. Wow, I'm back in real life again. George Russell learned what the inside of Hamilton's soul looked like at the end of the Dutch Grand Prix, but it was triumph for McLaren, a double points finish, and the third best constructor that weekend. Despite Mercedes' upgrades and pace, I really looked forward to seeing them win. Ribena Racing suffered agony in Azerbaijan, as Karl Puranik could only secure 12th place in the race. However, with a big engine upgrade that came through at that race weekend, and the FIA setting out a technical directive to stop the AI being cheating rabbit shafting, I mean too fast, we might expect some proper great pace from them, am I right mates? And so we head to Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. Will we see Red Bull bounce back? Maybe McLaren will surprise everyone and win. Or will there be another surprise? That's for you to find out. I now hand you over to People Magazine's hottest male of every year in existence. Enjoy.
Hello you chicken legends and quinoa queens, welcome to my team part number 9. And we're going to get straight away into qualifying here. First corner, ignore. Just ignore. Otherwise I'll be sick everywhere. Through turn number 2, and I had two or three lamb kebabs before this, because I'm bleating my way through another F1 MyTeam. Enough tomfoolery. Through the chicane we go, and we take that like an absolute champion as we head down towards the left-hander, braking nice and hard, about 75 meters out, and then using the higher gears to make sure we have the traction. And unfortunately, as you probably expected next, El Gato didn't give me a good slice of cake because my audio corrupted once again, and it's given me 5 liters of mold. But across the line, and it is absolute horseshit. It's a shambolic showing in the state of Canada. It's not a state, is it? Well, I don't care, ladies and gentlemen. Through turn number 1, that is absolutely awful. But through turn 2, that's worse. We've lost a whole heap of time there getting it crossed up on the road. We're currently P16 as we head through the chicane. That's not great. Neither was that left turn. We carry on with gaseous glamour towards the next corner, the left-hander, braking slightly earlier, but that means we get a better apex, and we gain that time. And look, we are 1.3 tenths up, nearly 1.5 tenths up as we go down the straight, which isn't too bad at all. And the good thing about this track is the little gains make up a lot of difference as we head down the straight towards the final chicane for the last time. We are still in P16, but there is plenty of room to gain time. Cutting that nicely as you dare. We do pretty much carry a stalemate through there in terms of time gained and time lost. Across the line though, and it's a decent gain. And we could see a good... Oh, for f***'s sake, man! Ladies and gentlemen, I have contracted crippling depression for this episode. Oh my god. We are actually so bad. By the way, how has Vettel qualified P13 in an Aston Martin? You know what the word I'm thinking of is right now? It begins with C and ends with heating nonce. Right, sit rep. We're f***ed. P17 on the road. We almost broke into the 1 minute 9s by a whisker, and we probably should have done. Had we gained that time and not lost all the time in turn 2, we could have beaten Pierre Gasly quite easily, I reckon, and maybe had a chance of beating Schumacher as well. We'll never know, unfortunately, because I have more bottles than a milk factory, unfortunately. Oscar, I don't know what the hell was going on. To be honest, though, he wasn't that far off us. Only 2 tenths off in the end. So we just did really badly on the whole, because that shouldn't be happening. By the way, congratulations. A round of applause for Oscar Piastri, can I just say? Congratulations on your drive at McLaren in real life. I almost forgot what English was for a brief moment there. But hopefully you do really well, mate. I'm super proud of you. However, you are still contracted at this team, and you will not be allowed to leave. So with Oscar being... What? Oscar? Why have I... why have I got a lisp? With Oscar being kept at Ribena Racing, not against his will in any shape or form. The rest of the grid, I mean, the Ferraris have steamrolled absolutely everyone once again. The race tomorrow could be interesting. We'll see who has the balance of power at that team and see if Mercedes can actually capitalise on some good pace. This is after the patch 1.07, I think it's 1.08 came out, where they actually fixed the AI. So I'm very, very optimistic, which is great news. So hopefully we'll be able to make fantastic gains. But because we're starting so far down, I thought it would be only fair to take a whole new engine and really begin our rise through the ranks. So ladies and gentlemen, don't turn that dial. Don't touch your mouse. Don't click another video, because you are about to see, potentially, an overtaking masterclass. It's time for the Canadian Grand Prix. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome to the Ile Notre Dame once again for what promises to be another incredible Canadian Grand Prix at a fiercely competitive circuit where pole position can often be decided by less than 1/10 of a second. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who will start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Russell, Sir Lewis Hamilton and Ricciardo, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Bottas and Esteban Ocon, Sainz, Vettel, Mick Schumacher and Gasly, Tsunoda, Stroll, Guan Yu Zhou and Alex Albon, Oscar Piastri, Magnussen, Latifi and Bombshell. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And joining me again for the race today, Natalie Pinkham. Let's start with the new Alfa Romeo driver. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within the team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that has definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Cheers, Alex Jakes, for the glowing introduction as always. And thank you, Natalie Pinkham, for actually saying something, you stupid, useless lump of slob. So as we head towards the grid then, for the start of the race, let's have a look at the race strategy for the Canadian Grand Prix. Again, one stop for us, mediums onto hards. It's what a lot of the AI are going for as well. We've got myself with a grid penalty and Latifi, although Latifi, the biggest penalty for him is himself, so that's not really much of a change. Sainz had a grid penalty. He actually qualified on pole, I forgot to mention, by 1/10 of a second. So he's got some work to do, and he's starting on the hards. Sounds like a Ferrari moment to me. But as we do burnouts towards our grid slot, can we get it bang on as we slowly creep up? Yes, we do. Let's get started as we go to lights out, and we're underway for the Canadian Grand Prix. We've got some work to do off the start, and it's an okay start, but this is where the real battle begins. Turn number 1, launching it down the inside of nearly 4 cars there. It is 4 cars. We're up to P18, round the outside of Stroll in the Aston Martin. We mean business this race. We have some stuff to show after Azerbaijan, which was absolute agony all the way through. We keep ahead of Stroll as he tries to attack us through the chicane, and we're going to head up to the left-hander now with another point to prove as we slice down the inside of not only Guan Yu Zhou, but Tsunoda as well, and we squeeze him out to the outside, and that's P15 already. 7 places gained, 7 cars eliminated from our pursuit of points, and we're heading up now towards the chicane. Gasly up ahead, slowing down massively as Vettel and Schumacher are getting jiggy, and Zhou's now getting re-involved in the battle as we have to slow down massively there. That's terrible news. He's going to try and go around the outside, but we say no, sir, and we take a different kind of invitation. First class stamp down the inside of Pierre Gasly. And that's not a sentence you say very often. Moving away from Gasly's hobbies, let's carry on as we head down the straight towards the final chicane. Gasly's got great straight line speed though, while Vettel and Schumacher up ahead fight, and we actually get it all kinds of wrong. As I was trying to size up a move on Vettel, we actually squeezed Gasly accidentally, really. I didn't mean to. I had very little control over where the car was going, and now Tsunoda's getting involved behind as we head on to lap number 2. Vettel gets it wrong at the first turn. Do we try and go for a move around the outside? So much is happening, I'm struggling to speak simple words. It's almost like every other episode of MyTeam I do. Towards the next chicane, cutting it nicely, trying not to get track limits wrong. Vettel sliding about there, and it's all happening in front of me, down the inside of the 4-time world champion, and we continue to prove our point. P13, unlucky for some, but we're going to continue making big strides in this race. Schumacher up ahead could be very vulnerable, and Sainz is there in P11 still. So here we are, lap number 3 now, because nothing happened. I know that's a shock to say in a street circuit. Who would have thunk it? But we've gone for a high downforce setup, though, which is another thing I failed to mention. We have compromised our straight line speed, but that's okay, because in the corners, we are a lethal weapon unleashed. Through the left-hander, towards the hairpin, we shall go. And
we won't overtake Schumacher. I don't know what you were expecting, to be honest.
It's lap number 5, and nothing's really happened, you know. I'd love it if only something would happen up ahead to bring the pack. Oh my god, what's this? A massive kerfuffle of cars up ahead. We are smoking some kind of pack.
Not that one, that's reserved for Friday nights.
But there is some other kind of pack going on here, as there's all kinds of squabbling up ahead. An Alpine, a McLaren, an Alfa Romeo, Sainz getting involved, Schumacher almost getting in the fray, and now we have been invited into the mix as they battle up ahead. They're slow off the chicane. Through we go ahead on Schumacher and Sainz. Unbelievable stuff. Sainz fighting back. We won't relinquish this position. We are going to fight this to the very end and keep ahead of a Ferrari here. We are actually fighting a Ferrari on merit, and we do keep ahead of Carlos Sainz. Oh my god, I need to lie down. And you know what? Cue the epic music. We have fought a Ferrari on merit. We have shown that horse is no horse. It's a pussy-o cat. And now we are truly in the slipstream of the Alpine up ahead of Esteban Ocon. Let's see if we can get him. Our Alpine Annihilation saga hasn't started greatly, because we're on to lap number 7 now, and we are still, it's a DRS train unfortunately, and it's headed by this man, Valtteri Bottas, who unfortunately, like I said before, I don't think I actually said it before, so I'm going to say it now, he started on soft tyres, for reasons I can't quite comprehend. Alfa Romeo seemed to have screwed his race before they even started going, and as a result, he's lost a sizable chunk of pace, and Ricciardo's going for a move, and that's slowing down Ocon up ahead, who now is trying to get ahead of Bottas, who had to slow down even more. It's going to be 3 wide into the hairpin. Arab's creaming himself somewhere in the UK. Actually, he's in Zandvoort as I record this, so
I mean, I don't know what goes on in Zandvoort, but it's a bit interesting.
there's a chance to get past though, although Sainz is pretty close. We might have to worry about... Good lord, the California Reaper is well and truly on our rear end, and he's trying to retake the glory he had previously, but we say no. We slam that door in his face, and we keep the position, and we're up to P10 now, because Bottas has had to come into the pits and change tyres, change front wing. I have no idea what's happened there, if he incurred any damage. Lap 8 seems to be really early to get a pit stop. We cut that chicane,
but we'll ignore that.
Our job now is to try and overtake Ricciardo, and the good news about him is that his straight line speed is much, much worse than the Alpine up ahead. We are quite slippy in a straight line ourselves, actually, because, as Wheel said, we've got chassis up. That actually has nothing to do with the straight line speed. I might actually jump off a significantly tall bridge. What I meant to say, though, is that in Azerbaijan, we actually got a major engine power upgrade, so we're not as bad on the straights as what we previously were. A bit of drag reduction would always be welcome, but we are going to work. We're cooking on gas, ladies and gentlemen, as I will prove to you very shortly. Lap number 10 is the double figures of the Canadian Grand Prix, and Ocon really isn't going that quickly up ahead. He's actually keeping us in the battle, as well as Sainz, regrettably, but Schumacher is actually nowhere near us. That's fantastic. We're actually proving we have some great pace, and Ricciardo's got it all kinds of wrong and crossed up at the chicane, and we are going to send it down the inside. That's more than first class. That is diamond minted kinds of efforts there, as we get a massive slop of opposite lock there, but we will keep P9 easily. Next target, Esteban Ocon. In this universe, we inadvertently kept one parallel by taking Oscar Piastri away from the Alpine F1 team. And what can we do to even cement that annihilation even further is take more points away from Alpine. Nearly onto lap number 12 here. We are in the slipstream of Ocon. Unfortunately, that straight line speed is so good. We're having a hard time, but we're not going to have a hard time much longer. Ocon locks up and makes it very easy for us indeed. That charity I will take, sir, very nicely. After what happened in Azerbaijan, I will graciously accept that invitation. P8, and now we chase Alonso. Lap number 14, nearly onto lap 15. Verstappen is in the pits, and he's going onto softs. And that's really interesting, because does he seriously think he can make the two-stop work? I have no idea. Norris with fastest lap. What kind of cowpole has he been inhaling? In more positive news, though, we've actually caught up to Alonso quite a lot. That gap was at 3.2. It's now 2.1. we actually, on merit, have some great pace, and we are proving that lap after lap. He was in our sights briefly there. There he is. Our target was in sight briefly, but unfortunately, lap number 15, he's actually got away quite a lot, but that's because we are going to let Verstappen through tactically, because there's no way we're fighting a Red Bull. Ferrari on hards, fine. They've buggered Sainz's race from minute 1. Verstappen, there was no way we were going to keep him behind. We head on to lap number 16 of the Canadian Grand Prix. Hamilton pits, goes onto the hards. We actually get ahead of him, which is great news. And as we come on to lap number 16, end of lap number 16, in fact, we are going to come into the pits, as Alonso is already pit, trying the undercut. We just about slow down for the marks. Our wheel turns left, going into a right-hander. We'll ignore Code Stinker's obvious foible, and we are going to try and get an optimal turn. Can we do it? Obviously we do. There's no other outcome to this. A good stop from the boys, yes. 2.5 on the upper limits of an optimal stop, but that's absolutely fine. Alonso does get ahead of us, but our main aim is to keep ahead of Valtteri Bottas there, who's on mediums and pit ages ago. Can we do it? Yes, we do. We keep ahead of Bottas. Fantastic news for us. And now we need to warm up these hards as quickly as possible, which are a bugbear at the best of times to try and get heat into. But just like a chicken korma at Christmas, we're going to break all kinds of traditions and make sure we get these hards up to speed as quickly as possible. Gap to Alonso is 3 seconds. Russell and Sainz fighting up ahead. Sainz still hasn't pit, and we are well within his pit window. Sainz has had an absolutely terrible race. He qualified on pole provisionally with his time, and now he's looking at potentially getting no points at all, which would be a massive kick in the rear end for him after what has been, on the whole, a brilliant weekend up until this point. Through no fault of his own. It's classic Ferrari strategy, you know. That horse has got 3 legs. I was going to say a wonky joke there, but that's a donkey. I can't even be bothered. Face bothered? No, you can't see it, so you won't be able to know. But we are well and truly scampering away from Valtteri Bottas, and that's great stuff, because now we can set our sights firmly on the Alpine up ahead. A team that has seen grief in real life and is about to see all kinds of different grief in this MyTeam universe. Fernando Alonso, you are next up on my list. At the end of the same lap, we continue our pursuit of Fernando Alonso. The gap sitting at about 3.7 seconds as Sainz comes into the pits and is going to fit mediums on for the rest of this race. It'll be interesting to see where on earth he's going to come out. He lost a whole heap of time on the last lap. At the very first turn, we caught 2 seconds up to him. I suspect he may have got front wing damage, because he's staying there for a very long time. That's panic stations for him. He's going to be right at the back of the pack. Oscar's going to have a field day. He's going to be eating good tonight. Let's see what we can do, though. Let's see if we can catch this Alonso. El Notorious Plano is being caught slowly but surely. Half a second on the previous lap, and as we clip that chicane very badly. But what's this? Ricciardo is overtaking Bottas, but Bottas is not having any of it. He's going to try and retake the McLaren. Will we be able to see the entire move? Of course not. May I draw your attention to this, though? Lap 21, look at the gap. That's 2 seconds worth of gap. We look at the next lap. That's half a second gained. And then on to the next lap. That there is game on. Alonso, you are well and truly history, my friend. There is no way you're keeping this freight train behind. As we head through the first couple of corners, we are in DRS range through the chicane, where we always gain so much time, and we've gained 3 tenths in the first couple of corners. Look at El Padre up ahead. He's looking a bit nervous on the rear end there, the wily old fox. And unfortunately for him, we are the younger and cunninger fox. That's not a word, I don't care. There's a yellow flag up ahead, though. Oh my goodness me. Hamilton's out. Hamilton is out. He was running P2. Mercedes with another power unit problem. He's out of the Canadian Grand Prix. There's the worst camera shot you've ever seen. There's a McLaren going through. That there is Ricciardo. And I don't believe it. Another Mercedes power unit problem. Shocking. But ladies and gentlemen, the intense music is on. We're going to go for a move on. Here's your race order from the Canadian Grand Prix so far. Oh, sorry, was that an anticlimax? Oh, well, unfortunately, I can't go back now and redo it. I'm sorry. Leclerc in the lead there, as you can see. It's Perez in the other Red Bull. That's currently sitting in P2, as Verstappen's gone for an audacious strategy. That was Norris in P3, Russell in P4, and then Verstappen in P5. But Carlos Sainz is the biggest loser. He's P18 and behind a Haas. What on God's green earth has happened there? P18, what a fall from grace for the Spaniard. We're hungry for an overtake, though, as we head on to lap number 24. DRS on Alonso. Our straight line speed isn't good enough to catch him. personal best lap of the race through turn number 2, and we are right on the back of him. We're sniffing his rear end like an audacious dachshund. It doesn't alliterate, I don't care, but through the chicane, the best part of the track for us, we cut it finally, and we are right on the back of El Plan, and we must make the move of the century, diving down the inside. He turns in on us again. Alonso keeps turning in, but it's not enough to cause us pain or harm. It's not enough to stop us powering through. P6, vehicle condition is absolutely okay. It's still a yellow flag for Hamilton. Why isn't there a safety car? But my goodness me, what a turnaround this has been. From the depths of Azerbaijan, what a triumph this is. Lap number 25 now, and we're going to crush Alpine's hopes and dreams even more. Because look at the gap. That right there is a second. We are out of Alonso's DRS. Meanwhile, Verstappen up ahead has only just overtaken Russell. He's got not many laps left to do a lot of damage. Speaking of damage, here we are trying to trample Alpine's hopes underfoot. The gap's 2.6 seconds, which isn't too bad. We've steadily been pulling away from Alonso, but their tyre wear is a lot better than us. So we've just got to pull away as much as we can, not make a single mistake. Oh my god, what's happened? There's a yellow flag. Alonso's binned it. Alonso spun. I don't believe it. We were talking about not making mistakes, and Alonso's done just that. A lapse of concentration, a bit of damage to his front wing as well, but that's a big kick in the teeth for the Alpine man, who was on for some great points, and now is in the depths of despair. We head on to lap number 30 of the Canadian Grand Prix, and actually, we are looking a bit tasty here, because look at the gap to Russell as we head through the chicane. Ready, right, and then left. Oh yes, that's under 5 seconds, and I know it's only 5 laps left, but with the pace that we've had, oh my goodness me, you could be about to witness something potentially meteoric. There is a miracle just on the horizon, and that miracle is mushing a Mercedes to kingdom come. 5 laps to go. Can we do it? On to the last lap of the Canadian Grand Prix, and believe it or not, we didn't actually catch Russell. I know that's a shock to many of you watching, but we just didn't have the pace outright, unfortunately. But we did have the pace over Daniel Spaniel Ricciardo behind. 7.3 seconds the gap, and that's not going to change much or enough to make any kind of difference as we carry on. Alonso, unfortunately, after that spin, stuck behind Pierre Gasly, who will claim AlphaTauri's first point of the season, pending he finishes and doesn't bin it. Sorry, not sorry if I've jinxed you. There's the Ferrari going down towards the start-finish line. It will be Charles Leclerc, who takes yet another win in this MyTeam Omniverse. Unbelievable from him. Imperious is the only word I can use, because nobody can stop him currently. Norris missed out on a podium again. Verstappen with a 2-stop, shot himself in the foot, could only manage P3. But for us, after the depths of despair in Azerbaijan, we're going to come through the final chicane from last to P6. What a weekend it's been. What a race. Let's go!
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Mark, I will skin your cat.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix. And they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out
Ah.
Oh, that does make me chuckle.
At least in this universe, they aren't an embarrassment. It is Charles Leclerc that takes yet another win for Ferrari in this season. Both Red Bulls on the podium, though, giving them a bit of a points haul on Ferrari is the word I wanted to use, but my brain stopped me from using for whatever reason. There's Arav switching allegiance once again, watching Charles Leclerc spray the champagne as he goes to whatever team wins, apparently. I've spotted Ben Daly do it as well, so don't think he can get away with it either. But the big loser of the day, let's start there because we laugh at losers. Sainz, oh my goodness me. What a show of a race that was. I'm surprised I haven't sworn as much in this episode as I probably should have or could have. I'm glad I didn't though, because it will keep the kiddos happy. But Sainz, an absolutely torrid race. Started P11, the hards had no pace at all. He got caught up in midfield traffic, and then the mediums, he just didn't have the pace. And I'm pretty sure he changed front wing at his stop as well. It's a shambles all round for him. You can't really put... Well, you can apportion blame, actually. Ferrari, what have you done? I'm just going to eat a slice of humble pie quickly and just say, we're P6! We're better than everyone else! No one can chat to us anymore. We're the best team on the in the midfield. We're the best team on the grid, and no one can say otherwise. Wait, Norris finished P4. Oh no. Let's not be down in the dumps though, because it's P6. That's all there is to say. It's P6. What incredible pace we had. We were half a second better than Alonso's best lap, which is unbelievable. We were only just slower than Norris's personal best lap. And throughout the race, we were catching some of those faster cars ahead of us as well. Oh. You know what? Well done, Oscar. Well done, Oscar. You finished higher than you started. And I commend you for that. I salute you. You beat an Alfa Romeo. Actually, while we're on the topic of that, Bottas, what a shocking race he had. Starting from 9th, the two-stop really didn't work for him. I think he must have had front wing damage as well. Verstappen went hards, softs, mediums, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I never thought Red Bull would have a questionable strategy call. Bottas's tyre strategy basically sums up how his race went. Everybody else on the one stop, I've no idea why those two rebelled against the norm, because it was clearly quicker. There's a race director of absolutely everything. Tsunoda actually went out of the race as well. He had terminal damage on lap 33. There was a crash of some kind. I didn't get any footage of it though, so it wasn't worth showing. But anyway, pit stop times, anything interesting there? Oscar had a relatively slow pit stop. Sainz had a big pit stop because he had to change his front wing. Bottas was just pretty slow. That's what it was. And unfortunately, he can't say anything against that because that is exactly what happened. So we're going to move on from this now in about a minute's time and go to the standings. By minutes, I meant 3 seconds. Leclerc extends his lead at the top of the standings. He's now a whole wind's worth ahead of Verstappen. He could DNF next race and he'd probably still be in the lead, which is great news for him. For Sainz has fallen really far back. Perez still not broken the 100-point barrier. Somehow, 100 points square behind Charles Leclerc, even though it's clearly got round values on the screen. George Russell and Hamilton then follow up. Norris has overtaken us in the driver's standings. The resurgence of McLaren has been ridiculous. Piastri moves down the table as well because Gasly scores AlphaTauri's first ever point. Great news for AlphaTauri. Well done him. It was a great race from him, courtesy of Alonso's mistake. But, you know, that's what happens when you become a pensioner. We move up to 6th in the constructor standings, and that is probably where the battle lies. Alpine, ourselves, Alfa Romeo, and Haas. If we can finish ahead of those guys, we're doing a pretty... You know what? If we finish even ahead of one of them, we're doing a great job. But there is a long season ahead to go, and as we head over to the British Grand Prix next, our home race, there is still plenty of work to be done in order to topple those monuments. So, be sure to check it out, because believe me, you will not want to miss it. Until we arrive in God Save the Queen land, I will bid you a farewell. Thank you ever so much for watching part number 9 of the MyTeam journey. This is beyond the furthest I've ever gone with the series on this channel, other than my F1 2019 career mode, and that one was pretty shit. So this one, by that standards, is absolutely incredible, and I'm so glad I'm continuing with this. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more. There might be some other juicy content round the corner, a new series potentially. Be sure to check that one out when it comes out. I won't tell you when it is, but it's soon. If you don't want to miss the next video and make doubly, triply, quintuply, quadruply, I've got it the wrong way around, but that's sure. Hit the notification bell nice and hard, just how I like it. No, MyTeam playlist is also in the top right. I don't know why my System 32 crashed just then for a second, but anyway, MyTeam playlist is in the top right. If you haven't checked out any of the previous episodes, please do go and check them out. If you checked them all out, check them out again. Recommend them to your friends, your family, your pets, complete strangers in the street. Don't talk to strangers, kids, unless you absolutely have to. But, once again, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Goodbye!